everyone, a very warm welcome to all of you in my YouTube channel, The Online Educator. And today we'll be starting with organic chemistry, and the chapter today we'll be discussing is haloalkenes and haloarenes. Now, I would like to tell you is that first, we'll be looking at the basic things of this chapter because I firmly believe that if the base is really strong, then you will be easily able to understand and digest all the important concepts it is here in this chapter. So, first, we'll be knowing what is an haloalkene. Halo means halogen, halogen containing compound. Alkane means the alkyl which will be having the halogen. Okay, alkyl is basically when one hydrogen is removed. So from alkane we get alkyl. Okay, for example we take CH3, this is an alkyl. Now the alkane is reacted with the halogen and we get haloalkanes. So here we get a removal of hydrogen, right? We get a removal hydrogen. Like I take an example as CH4. Okay, like here I took the example, I'll be explaining you here. So CH4, this is like this. Okay, now the X will be attacking and it will remove the C. This will attack here and this will get removed. Okay, this will get removed. So this gets removed and we get CH3X plus HX. Okay, so one X is removed and one X is added here. Okay, and this and one X which is removed, it gets added with the other HX2 because we know that the X exists in X2, right? So we'll have 2x, so 1x will be attacking to C and it will form haloalkene, and 1x will react with the removed halogen, it will form a hydrogen halide. If it will be HCl, then it will be saying hydrochloric acid, or HF, or HBr, or HI. Okay, so here we take this example where X can be fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. So methane is reacted with chlorine, okay, and it forms the haloalkene. Okay, now we come, what is haloarenes? Haloarenes are halogen first. Halo means halogen and arenes means we'll have benzene. Okay, arenes is really discussed. This is a chapter in the discussed. Have we saw many things in hydrocarbon chapter. So this chapter you will be knowing what are arenes. Okay, so benzene, I take the example benzene. So the X2 is reacted with benzene and we get HX and we get aryl halide. Okay, the haloarenes. Now X can be FCl and Br and I. Now you might not know this, so I tell you this. X, okay, plus benzene. Okay, benzene. So what is happening here is that X2, here X2 is reacting with benzene and it forms HX and aryl halide. Now this will attack and remove one H and it will take its position. Okay, this benzene is actually this. We have 6 carbons and each carbon is connected with one hydrogen each. So one hydrogen is removed and X is added there. Okay, and we get the aryl halide and the HX. Okay, now we see the classification of haloalkenes and haloarenes. Now the one, if the compound will contain one halogen, then we'll be calling it mono. If it's 2, then we call di. If it's 3, then it called tri, and so on. So basically we'll be seeing that if we take an example as alkane, so we take the example as alkane is reacted and where we have addition of X and removal of one H, then we get a monohaloalkene. And same as in arene, if we add one X, it gives us monohaloalkene. 2X di, 3X tri. Okay, Like here we took the example as this. The benzene reacted and we got this. The CH4 methane reacted and it got this. We get even this compound HX here. Okay. The H which is removed, it gets add up with the X. Okay, and this it forms HX. Okay, we take here an example, dibromobenzene. So it is having two bromines, one bromine we say bromo. Okay, so this is bromine, so 2 bromo. If it's 3 then we say tribromo. Okay, and so on. Now we will be discussing the degree of carbon. Okay, so now we come to a point, degree of carbon, number of carbon attached to a carbon compound. Okay, so we have the first primary alkyl halide, secondary alkyl halide, tertiary alkyl halide. Basically, the if one CH3 is present, it is called primary. If there is two CH3, we call it secondary, and if it's 3 CH3 is present, we call it tertiary, and they have a hybridization of sp3. Now if you have a problem in bringing out the hybridization, then I give you a trick here, is that carbon connected with 4 atoms will have sp3. Carbon connected with 3 atoms will have sp2. The carbon connected with 2 atoms will have sp. So in hydrocarbons we had seen that in alkyne we had sp, in alkene we had sp2, and in alkane we had sp3. Basically what I want to say here is that if it has 3 bonds, okay, then you see it is connected with 1 and 2, so it has a hybridization of sp. Alright, if it's a double bond, okay, then it is connected with 3 atoms. Alright, 3 atoms, 1, 2 and 3. So 3 atoms sp2. So double bond sp2, triple bond sp, and if it's single bond, then it is, look, we have 4 atoms. Okay, so it has sp3. So we can also say that in single bond, in pi bond, okay, a single bond is also called, single bonds are also called pi bonds, and double bond is called sigma bonds. Okay, triple bonds are also called sigma bonds. So one sigma bond, okay, sigma bonds here we can have sigma and pi bonds, here we can have sigma, pi and pi bonds. So we see that in where we have triple bond, then we have sp, we have double bond, then we have sp2, and when we have single bond we have sp3. Now I will discuss here the allylic halide. Allylic halide is basically when the compound's last carbon, the compounds, this is the bond line structure, it is a bond line structure, so the extreme last carbon which contains a halide, we call that allylic halide, we call that compound as allylic halide. So we here have an example, this is called benzylic carbon. The benzylic carbon, which is the outermost carbon which is connected, we call it benzyl carbon, and the whole compound we say it as this thing, we say it as benzyl halide. Okay, the outermost carbon. Now we come here to benzyl halide, compounds in which the halogen atoms in the bonded to an sp3 hybridized carbon atoms next to the benzene ring. Okay, sp3 in sense we will have single bond. Alright, we will have a single bond, so single bond is here, we see here, okay, I have it here, single bonds, and it has an sp3 hybridization, single bond to sp3 hybridization, and it is the outermost. Okay, it's the outermost, and it is containing the halogen, so we call it as benzyl halide. Now we come to a point, vinylic halide, where the X will be bonded with the double bond. It will be bonded with the double bond C. Okay, double bond C. So we have an example here. Okay, this is ethene and it is reacted with X2, the halogen, and we get here the vinylic halide. The X is bonded with double bond C. So this is vinylic halide. We see here the vinylic halide, it is the double bond and it is connected with the Cl. So Cl is connected with double bond. So we see here that in allylic halide, X is bonded with single bond. Okay, and we can say it is connected with sp3 hybridization of carbon, and here X is combined with double bond, right? It is combined with double bond and it has sp2 hybridization with the carbon compound. Okay, so till this much is it clear, right? So allylic halide will have X halogen with connected with single bonds and it will have sp3 hybridization. Vinylic halide will have X connected with double bond and will have sp2 hybridization. Now we come to our next topic, next point. Now we come to a point, aryl halide. If X is bonded to carbon of aromatic ring, that is the benzene. Now benzene is an aromatic ring, so I reacted it with X2 and it gives us the aryl halide. Okay, with the side product of this. So the X bonded to the carbon of aromatic ring, this carbon is in the aromatic ring. Okay, like we have this here in the benzene, we have 6 carbons, right? And here at this carbon it is connected. Okay, we make a ring here. So this is the aryl halide, where the X is bonded with the carbon of aromatic ring. Okay, now we come to a point, the nature of carbon and halogen bond. Now we know that due to electronegativity, the nature of halogen, the X, the halogen are electronegative. So due to electronegativity nature of halogen, CX bonds are polar in nature. Okay, we took C and X, so we get a delta positive charge upon the C and a delta negative charge on X, because C and X, the X is more electronegative than carbon, because if we go left to right in the periodic table, we see that electronegativity increases from group 14 to group 17. We will see that left to right in the periodic table electronegativity increases. So when the bond will be breaking of CX, then these two electrons will be jumping to X because of the high electronegativity of X, because X is more electronegative. So it will have a delta positive charge because it's donating the electron and it is taking the electron, so delta negative charge, and this bond is a polar bond. Okay, this bond is a polar bond. So the nature of the carbon X bond, so the nature of the carbon X bonds are polar bonds. Okay, it forms a polar bond, and we see the delta negative and delta positive charge on the heads of carbon and halogen. And again I repeat that carbon's electronegativity is less than X because it is in group 14 carbon and X is in group 17. X is basically the halogen. Okay, the halogen family in p block, group 17. So left to right in periodic table electronegativity increases. This all things were discussed in class 11 periodic table chapter. So you can go and you can, if you have read it and you know these all facts. So left to right periodic table, in the periodic table electronegativity increases and halogen has group 17 and group 14 is carbon. So the nature of CX bond is a polar bond. Okay, now we come to our next point. So now we come to the point, bond length of CX bond. Now the bond length, we will come to this result. First we discuss the thing that order of bond length. Bond strength increases, tough to break the bond. Bond strength increases, it means that more the electronegative, more the bond strength, because when the electronegativity is more, then the X will not let the atom leave. Okay, it will have a really very high bond enthalpy, or the bond break energy, and so the strength of the X, the strength of the bond is really directly proportional to the electronegativity. More the electronegativity, more is the bond strength. And bond length is, it means that the distance between the bond. If, like, here I would like to say this, that in bromine is a gas and it's the most electronegative compound, so electronegative element, so it will not let the atom leave. It will really कस के पकड़ के रखेगा. It will really, like, strongly it will keep bonded with the carbon atom. Next comes chlorine, which is a gas, and bromine, which is in liquid, and iodine is in solid. Iodine is really very huge, so it is really very easy to break it, because the bond length is huge in iodine. Then it reduces from bromine, then it chlorine, then fluorine. So bond length increases, bond length decreases, bond strength increases. So the bond length is increasing, so the bond strength will be decreasing. Bond length and bond strength. Bond length is decreasing, bond strength will be increasing. You are getting me? So bond length is directly inversely proportional to 1 by bond strength. Bond length is inversely proportional to bond strength. It means that bond length will increase, then bond strength will decrease, and vice versa. Okay, so electronegativity is F the most, then Cl, then Br, then I. So here we come to the conclusion that the bond length of Ci will be the most, and then it comes, so the decrease, it is the increasing order. So the most bond length is Ci, then it comes Cbr, then CCl, then Cf. I hope you understood it. Now we come to the next point, bond enthalpy. Okay, so now we come to a point, the bond enthalpy of CX bond. Now bond enthalpy is the required energy to break the bond. Okay, bond enthalpy is the required energy to break the bond. Bond strength of, I discussed that the bond length is inversely proportional to bond strength. So we see that there is a very less bond length between them. So the more bond length, so bond length is very much less in CS, so the bond strength is high. So the bond strength is most is CF, then it comes to CL, then it comes to BR and CI. Now CI, the chlorine iodine bond, it is easy to break because it has a very high bond length, and high bond length, it means less bond strength, right? Less bond strength, and less bond strength, it means less bond enthalpy, because bond enthalpy is directly proportional to bond strength. So bond enthalpy is more when bond strength is more, bond enthalpy is less when bond strength is less, and here bond strength is less because bond length is high, so the bond enthalpy is less. Okay, so less energy required and less bond enthalpy, less energy required to break the bond. So here we got a conclusion that the bond strength order is the same is of the bond enthalpy's order, because bond enthalpy is directly proportional to bond strength, and bond strength the most is of fluorine, then it's the chlorine and carbon, then bromine and carbon, and iodine and carbon. So the bond strength is CF, CCl, CBr and CI, and the same will be a bond enthalpy, because this requires a very lot of energy to break. So it has the most, and then comes CCl, then it comes CBr, and then it comes CI. So the most high bond enthalpy is of CF, and the least is CI. Okay, so here we have the most bond enthalpy, the most bond strength is of CF, and the least bond strength and the least bond strength is of iodine, CI. So I hope it's clear that the same order of bond strength will be of the same order of bond enthalpy, because bond enthalpy is directly proportional to bond strength. So the most high bond enthalpy is of CF, the least is of CI, because CI has a very large size. So more bond length means less bond strength. Less bond strength, it means it's easy to break, and it's easy to break, then it requires less energy, and so it has less bond enthalpy, because bond enthalpy is the required energy to break the bond. So it is very easy to break the bond of Ci, and it is very tough to break the bond of Cf. I hope it's clear. Now we come to a point, dipole, order of dipole moment. Now dipole moment's formula is charge into L. These all things were in the chemical bonding chapter. Okay. So this was in the chemical bonding chapter. So from here we get that a dipole moment mu is equal to the charge and the bond length. Okay, the bond length Q into L. Now dipole moment depends on two factors, the charge and the bond length. Now here we took the 4 halogen, okay, and we took, it is delta 4, delta 3, delta 2, delta 1. Now we have an exception here. Exception is that the dipole moment, which should be CF, CCl, CBr and CI, now this is not done. Why? Tell me. We know that fluorine is very electronegative. Okay, so electronegativity is like this, right? It is. But still, why do we see this? That CCl has the most dipole moment, and after that CF, CBr and CI. So this has the least, okay, this has the most. Why this? Because F is highly electronegative, okay, it is highly electronegative, and the bond length of fluorine will be really very less, okay, and it will not easily give his electron, okay, it will not easily take his electron because it is really very tightly packed. But chlorine, it takes the electron because of it's very small size, and the Cl has a comparatively more size from Cl. So here the length factor dominates, okay, so the bond length compared to this is more, and this allows to take the electron. And here the main thing is that the length factor is dependable. So we get an exception here, that CCl, then comes CBr, CF, and then it comes CBr, and then CI. Okay, so this is the dipole moment trend. Okay, I hope it's clear. So we have an exception here, so please remember this. So this exception says that the length factor is the reason for the dipole moments exception here. Okay, so I hope it's clear. In the next video we'll be discussing the IUPAC of the haloalkenes and haloarenes and the method of preparation. So I hope it's clear. I again repeat my point, in dipole moment it is dependable on charge and bond length. So you see that the dipole moment is really dependable on the bond length, and the bond length factor is dominating in the CF and Cl bond. And so we get an exception here, is that CCl, CF, CBr and CI. So the most dipole moment it has CCl, then it comes CF, then it comes then it has CBr, then it has CI. So the least dipole moment is of Ci, and the most dipole moment is of Cl. This is an exception we got in the haloalkanes and haloarenes chapter. And in the next video we'll be discussing the IUPAC and the methods of preparation. So please stay tuned for the next part, and really I thank you for watching. Let's see from Leo in the next video. Take care. Thanks for watching.